For 40 years, Michael Myers has haunted this town. He is the essence of evil, and evil dies tonight.
Halloween Kills, rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent. In theaters and streaming only on Peacock now.
Welcome, everyone. This is Yashima Marshall, and you are now a part of the Shima Show. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited to be doing this new show. Now, on this new show, I'm going to be combining my expertise in social work, parenting, all the family work, along with my love and dedication and commitment to mom work. So we're going to be talking about motherhood, womanhood, and anything and everything else in between. And so I'm so excited to be doing this show. It's not going to be specific about just parenting or just motherhood, because guess what? At the end of the day, at some point, they merge. So I've decided to create a show that I can just speak freely and talk freely about both of those things in one show instead of having two separate shows to talk about them, because guess what? I'm a mom and I'm a woman. Did you imagine that, right? So anyway, I'm going to be doing these shows. This is the first episode of the Shima Show. It's also going to be aired on YouTube, so you can see it there. I'll be doing a visual portion of my show, a live show. I usually only do my podcast, audio based, but actually, one of my sons gave me an idea. He was like, "Mom, why don't you do your podcast, live on video too, so people can see you? Like, we love and we like to see video today. So you shouldn't just do audio. Why don't you try do video?" So I said, "Why not? Sure. I love a good video. I love talking. So combine both of my loves, and here we are. The Shima Show. We're going to talk about womanhood, motherhood, and anything and everything else in between. So let's get started. So we've started school. Now, if you're in Florida, we've already been in school for about 3 weeks, going on 4 weeks next week. So we've been in school for about 3 weeks. And hey, if you're watching the news and you have been watching what's going on with Florida, and you know by now that we're in this tug of war with the school system and our governor or government system administration about masks. Oh my gosh. So I don't know if you guys are dealing with this in your school district in Florida, or you're listening to me from somewhere else, but it's been this big deal, right, about masks. Now, of course, we know we went back to school at the end of last school year. We went back to school. Those of us who were already in school. My son was back in school January of 2021. And so they had to wear masks. It was mandated to wear masks. But now in Florida, and I don't know what your school districts are like, but in Florida, our governor created legislation saying that the school districts could not mandate masks, right? So that was an issue. So some of the school districts, of course, they don't feel that was going to be safe for the students. So they wanted to mandate masks. And so what the governor did was threaten that if we mandated masks at our school districts, that they would withhold funding and other consequences as a result of that. So when we started the school year, the school district started with the everyone required masks, but if you want to opt out of not wearing a mask, your parent had to send a note to your teacher, to your school district, what have you. And that's how the school district started. Now, here we come, I think after July 4th, right? Delta variant of COVID comes and it's going through us, it increases the COVID cases, it's increased, the infections. It's actually infecting children now and the younger population. So, hey, the school districts are like, what's going on? We have to do something to extra protect not just the students, but our staff and everything like that. So some of them, were not in agreement with the governor, and they want to mandate masks just for the public safety aspect of the situation. So there was a lawsuit. And if you've been watching on television, you've seen that there was a lawsuit between some parents who obviously thought it was unfair or unconstitutional for the governor to ban school districts from mandating masks for the students to wear. So anyway, there was a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit against the governor and their administration. last week, the judge ruled that, in fact, the legislation was not within his authority to force the school districts not to mandate masks. He was out of his authority on that. And so therefore, the school districts who felt it was in the best interest of their students and their schools to go ahead and mandate the mask. So that's what's going on down here with us for school district. You have the side of people who want to wear masks, a side of people who do not want to wear masks, and everyone has an idea of what the school should be doing, how they should be handling it, all that good stuff. And I'll just kind of give my 2 cents on it. It's kind of weird to me. And why I say it's kind of weird, because I don't think it's a matter of a parent choice or a parent decision whether your child has to wear the mask in school. And why do I say that? My sons, may not want to wear masks. And I have older kids, so I'm not in elementary or junior high. My oldest son graduated in 2020, and now I have another younger son who's a teen. He's in high school. So in the high school level, it's still recommended. They are not mandated to wear the mask. They're in high school. So he's not mandated to wear the mask, but we have an understanding, and we discussed this, that just for your safety and the safety of other people, it's best that you wear your mask. And he understands this, because my son, vaccinated. And be honest with you, that was not a decision that I made or we made for him. That was something that he had decided that he was going to do as soon as he turned 16, because at the time of his 16th birthday, you had to be 16 and 16 and over to get a vaccination. And so he had decided that he wanted to get vaccinated, and it was just a safe thing to do. And he always wears his mask and what have you. So lo and behold, he gets a summer job, and somehow one of the employees at his summer job has COVID. So he's not having any symptoms or feeling bad or anything like that, but we took him to get a COVID-19 test, of course, just on the air on the side of safety. And lo and behold, his test is positive. And I said to him, wait a minute, you're like the mask up guy. You're so official about everything we're supposed to do to be safe with COVID and what we're supposed to be doing as a family. What happened? I feel that you must have gotten a little too comfortable at work, and did you not wear your mask? Be honest. And he was honest, and he said, you know what, Mom, I'm sorry. Yes, I got a little bit comfortable at school, at work, and I didn't wear my mask, a couple of times. I said, okay, just honest, but just lesson learned. I mean, we think about this, and people say, oh, well, the masks are not going to help. Oh, that's crap. Because let me tell you something. I was out here. My husband and I were out here at the beginning of COVID. My husband was an essential worker. He was not off of work, maybe for about 2 weeks when COVID, everything shut down at first. But after that, he and his coworkers had to go to work because they were a part of he works at the university, and they had to be there in their department to make sure the buildings were functioning and running appropriately, even though the students and the staff were not there. And so we were out here in the thick of things when COVID was very high, and people were dying every day from COVID, and we were masked up. And so I don't believe, and we never caught COVID, my husband and I, and neither of our children, for wearing the mask and following precautions and everything, right? So I don't believe that the masks don't help, okay? And first of all, let's just think about this. So I'm trying to figure this out. So I don't get the parents who are saying that it should be our choice, right? No, it should be your choice whether you, one, want to let your child go to public school or private school or homeschool or virtual school. That is a parent's choice. It's also your choice as a parent whether you want to get your child vaccinated or not, right? That's your parent choice. That's a part of your right as a parent. We've never had the right or choice as a parent to think that we can make decisions for what's happening at a school district, we don't make a decision based on the curriculum that they teach at school. We don't make a decision and have a parent choice on whether we can just switch our child's classroom. We can move their classroom chair. We can change the teachers. We can decide on what lunchroom they have. We don't have that discretion, and it's not our right as a parent to control what happens at the school districts. And, your choice is whether you want to bring your child to school or not. But however, schools are responsible, particularly at the higher level, when there is, let's not forget about what's going on here. This is not whether we want to take a sex ed class and we're going to sign off a waiver, don't teach my kid about the penis and vagina kind of thing. Remember, we're talking about dealing with a public health issue where people are dying, where children in elementary and middle school and high school are catching COVID. And then people and they're bringing it home to their family, and people are catching it and they're getting very, very sick or dying from this virus. So this is not something to play with. This is not the average everyday cold that we're dealing with. And you come to the school with sniffles. That's not what we're dealing with. This is a public health issue. And as a school, I expect those superintendents, those administrators to make sure they're doing everything they can to keep my child safe, whom I have trusted in their care. I don't care what grade he's in, from all the way down to the preschool, Head Start, daycare, all the way up to high school when they're graduating senior, even the colleges. Okay. But particularly right now, where the kids are in K through 12, I expect schools to do like they would do in any other public health situation, any other situation, that they're responsible for creating policies and procedures to make sure our babies are safe in that building the 7 to 8 hours they're there. So I expect them to handle COVID-19 the exact same way. I don't expect me as a parent to come in and say, hey, about that shooting stuff, I don't think you should hold my kids hostage, while the shooter is roaming around the school. It's my right as a parent to get my kid out immediately, regardless of the safety issue that will cause. Come on. That's being ridiculous as a parent, and is asking for too much. You're at a school, we have superintendents, and we trust them every day with our children to make decisions, to provide a safe environment for them. I don't understand why we're giving such a pushback and being so, what do you call it, resistant to this, making sure that we're safe. And it's not just about my kid. And it's so funny, and I'm gonna get off of this in a second, but I was looking, this is my last thing, and we're gonna switch topics really quickly. This woman was on television, and they interview people on TV for the news or whatever when there's a hot topic. And so, she's saying, they said, well, it was one point before the ruling came through where you had to have a waiver. It was a medical waiver you had to get from the doctor. Only way that you can opt out of wearing a mask if your parent can provide a documented medical reason why that child shouldn't wear a mask. And this woman was on there, and she was like, well, my son, he doesn't want to wear, he doesn't like it. So I'm going to have to try to find a doctor to try to give me a note, but he doesn't have a medical reason. So listen, so we're fighting and arguing over the fact that a 7-year-old says he doesn't want to wear the mask. Listen, stop it. And let's get through this together. Everything is not political. Everything is not party based. This is simply about keeping everyone's child safe as possible. And whatever you're responsible for, wherever you can help that process, be a help for that process. Don't be a hindrance based off of your own personal beliefs and your person. That has nothing to do with it. It really doesn't. When a school is responsible for keeping our children safe, it has nothing about whether I have a personal issue with guns or whether they carry guns or not. That's beside the point. It's their job, their responsibility, and we give it to them every day for every other reason. Why is it now? Because it's COVID-19 and it's actually a public health issue and a deadly virus. Why, as a parent, would you question their authority? Would you question their ability to keep and their motivation to keep your children safe and themselves safe, might I add? Who your children love to be in their face, smiling and hugging and talking to every day. Think about that, okay? It's not a time to think about yourself and base your personal values and morals on the world. It's all about what's safe for the babies, okay? All right, moving on. So now, the other thing I want to talk about in terms of just being a woman and being a mom is this thing. We always talk about self-care, right? And it's funny, it's kind of gotten like I don't know, like a new wind or whatever. I remember not too long ago we were talking about self-care and people were saying on like Facebook and Instagram, they were so sick and tired of people talking about self-care. People saying self-care here, self-care there, self. And I think it was a thing about the fact that we talk about getting self-care, we always think of it as something we have to do, something that is going to be something additional that we have to add onto our life, right? Oh, I got to get my nails done. That's self-care. I got to get my toes on. That's self-care. Or I got to try to find money for a spa day or all these, go to a retreat or go to a resort. And, self-care is so much more than that. Self-care sometimes could be simply as learning when and how to say no. Self-care can be something is knowing when to shut it off, when to shut it down, when to close your laptop, when in the middle of the day you need to stand up from your laptop, from your computer, from your desk and walk around your office, walk down, go outside to your car, and then walk back up to your office and to your desk, or just take a breath. Breathe. You'll be amazed at just how sometimes simple things can be a part of your overall self-care, because self-care is not just one thing. It's not just going away and getting your nails on or and that's part of my self-care regimen, but that may not be every woman's regimen. Maybe a woman can't get her nails on because of her job she does, or it irritates her, or you can't freaking afford it, whatever. That may not be a part of your self-care regimen or even something you're able to do. But I want to tell you about what's about self-care is that it's, I was on this in Clubhouse in this room, and it was so good because we were talking about how the fact as African American women, sometimes we don't have a model for that, right? For what self-care looks like, for what taking a break looks like, for what stopping and breathing looks like, because we've been taught that it's a negative if you decide to take a nap in the middle of the day. Why are you sleeping in the middle of the day? You're so lazy. That's lazy. Why are you resting? You don't need a rest. And our models have been go, 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 go. I mean, you can think about your own mom and your own aunties and your grandmas and everything, and think of the concept of how they grew up and they were always having to do, always have to do. We have to do this for our job, do this for our spouses, do this for our family. We have to do, we're doing this for our work. We're doing this to build our business. We're doing this to help other moms, other people, our clients learn how to be self-care, right? We're doing. And self-care is at a point when you're comfortable and you're learning how to just be. Someone said that, and I cannot remember who said it in a group. She said, we are human beings, not human doings. It was something like that. I'm probably saying it completely wrong, but her point is that, we're human beings. Excuse me. And we have to learn that it's okay sometimes not to be busybodies, not to always be doing something, not to always, be engaged in something, for our business, for someone else to get ahead or whatever, make money or just whatever. And it's our right. It's our right. It's not a luxury. Self-care is not a luxury. Self-care is our right, and self-care is your life preservation. Life preservation. Because if you don't, we don't do this, our bodies will show you what happens as a result. And some of you can relate to that. I can surely relate to, a point in my life where I was doing. And then I was just shut down. My body was attacking me and was like, listen, I can't keep going like this. I can't keep doing what I'm doing without resting, without some peace, without some meditation, without some, regrouping, regeneration, and not just your body, not just your nails, but in your mind, in your spirit, in your heart. You have to find a time for that. I don't care if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes a day. You just take that time to rejuvenate, to relax, to refresh, to just breathe, to just be. Even if you just sit back on a couch for 5 minutes and just close your eyes and just think about nothing except where you're sitting at, where your body is resting at, and nothing else. Because self-care is not selfish, it's necessary. If we're going to continue to do the things we do, to change the lives we're changing, and to pour into people we're pouring into, we have to have a cup that's full of something to pour, right? You cannot give, you cannot drink from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So therefore, if your cup is always empty, if you're always coming from behind and trying to refill, you're trying to, give before you refilled your cup, you don't have anything to give from. And that's not fair to you. And you're not being as effective as a mom, a spouse, as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a boss, as you think you are. You think you're clicking on all cylinders. Oh, I got it going on. I'm doing this. No, you're not. You're like one minute away from burning out and crashing. And then when you burn out and crash, what good are you going to be for anybody? And I had to have that talk with my girlfriend of mine. Oh my gosh. I was like, be quiet. I'm done talking to you. I don't need any more bashing from you. And she wasn't bashing me. I'm just being dramatic, right? But she was just letting me know, like, listen, sis, you've had a lot, go on. And I'm going to talk about that in my next episode. When to notice and when to recognize in your life when you've had so much going on, when it's time to really, really sit back, think about that, whether you're gonna, have to take note of it, put it in your calendar. But sometimes we get caught up not even paying attention, to ourselves. We're paying attention to everyone else, everything else except numero uno. And guess what? You're important. You deserve it and you need it. So don't you forget about it. So that's what I'm talking about today. I hope you all are getting into your routines with school. You're getting on your babies together. Those of you who are getting ready to start school after Labor Day, I hope you're got everything together and you're feeling comfortable and safe about the choices you've had to make, and think and talking about that. Moms, and parents in general, we've endured a lot over the past year and a half, and some things, when one thing happens, it triggers another thing, and it causes us to make decisions, that we didn't think we would have to make. And some of you have had to make a 360 turnaround with your life. You went from public school to digital school to outright homeschool, and so this has been some tough times for people. But listen, I want you to know that the decisions you're making, whatever decision you have to make about your family and for your children, you're making the best decision. You're making the right decision. And guess what? If you figure out or if you learn that what you're doing is not working, the decision you made may not be the best decision. Find a way to make it the best decision, the best situation that you can make it. All right. Some of us don't have the luxury of being able to stay at home full time with your children. You have to work. You have to work and be able to support them and to provide for them. And that's just what it is. So we do what we have to do to keep them safe, to make sure they get the best education they can get right now. And we go back and we relax about it. We woosah, and we always think we don't have mom guilt. We don't let that mom guilt eat at us. We just recognize that right now in this moment, at this time, I'm making the best decision and the best choices I can make for me and my family and my children. And as long as you know that, as long as you're doing that, you're going to be okay, because you're going to figure out the next step. You're going to figure out how to make the changes, how to make the adjustments, how to reevaluate your life and your situation that's going to best fit your family. So don't beat yourself up for not having this, for not being able to do this, for able doing that. You do what's best for your own situation. You don't let mom groups, you don't let your family, you don't let anybody on Facebook and all this stuff you're hearing and reading about in the news. Don't let that influence you. You let that help you make the best decision that you can make and that you need to make for your children and yourself as a mom and as a woman. And guess what? Oh, slapping my mic out of the way. I am done for the day. This is the end of episode 1. Thank you so much for joining me for the Shima Show. I look forward to having a guest once a month on here. One of my girlfriends to come up here and chat it up with me and give you guys some life and some fun times, because I have some funny girlfriends and I don't mind them sharing them with you, because, they're some badasses and I love to show them off and to brag about them. So we're going to be doing some things like that, but I'm going to be talking about all month for the month of September, coming on talking about some things in self-care. And September is also suicide prevention month. So I'm going to be talking about some things about that pretty much every week, coming on, dropping some tips. And if you don't know, if you're dealing with something like that, you need to call the suicide prevention hotline. If you just Google it, look it up on your phone. If you know someone's have some concerns about this, don't wait. Take it serious when someone's talking about suicide. You listen, you take it serious. Don't think they're joking. I don't know. I know someone personally who has committed suicide. I know people who have close to me, or I've known friends and relatives that have attempted suicide. So it is serious. And when someone comes to you about that and they say that, don't take it lightly. Okay. Don't take it lightly. And you check on them and see what's going on with them. And you give them the resources that, if nothing else, tell them to call the suicide prevention hotline and just to talk to somebody. Okay. So we'll see you next week. And, I'm going to post up, I'll send this episode to Facebook and you'll be able to see it on YouTube when the season is over. All righty. Take care. Thanks for joining me for the Shima Show.
Sling TV, built to save you money and bring you the channels you love, including ESPN, AMC, HGTV, and more. Watch your favorite comedies, dramas, suspense thrillers, news, sports, and more for just $35 a month. And your first month is only $10. Sign up now and start streaming right away on your TV, phone, and tablet. Take control of your TV solution with Sling. It makes TV flat out better. Go to sling.com to sign up now and get your first month for just $10.